right, that time again. It is episode 19 coming your way. A ton to get to this week. It's been an absolutely crazy week once again. In fact, Sean, the best week of the year for the market. S&P 500. Best week of the year for the S&P 500.
Really?
This week.
I was wondering if we had a down week in the NASDAQ, but no.
No, S&P I'm saying.
S&P, yeah.
Here's the actual chart so I can show you. 2.23%. When all is said and done, the market still only goes up. So yeah, the biggest weekly candle here, going back to the beginning of the year, obviously January. This one, sorry, was bigger, but because the week before was a negative week.
I was going to say, I see that candle right now.
The percentage is still 2.25% on the week for the market. Not bad.
Well, I mean, the Fed, it's so funny that we talked about this on the show. It's like the Fed comes out and tells us everything we need to hear, and as expected, and the market just, okay, that's a nice story. And then I think a lot of it was helped by Nvidia. Nvidia closed today in and around that 940 area. I don't know the exact price, but I mean, they're still, closing at highs.
Just goes up.
There's no stopping that name. It's just at 860. Now it's at 940, like 10% like that.
Absolutely.
Remember when 10% used to be like, oh, that's a good return? And now it's just like, wait a second, where was this thing last week? And then didn't you just say right now SMCI with an offering?
Yeah, I just coming across here. We're filming this Friday, guys, just for the record after the close. So SMCI coming across with a $1.73 billion offering.
Right.
Expect that to be downside a little bit going into the beginning of next week. But yeah, you alluded to it. We got the Fed this week. Jerome Powell actually surprised me, I got to say, coming out super dovish, shrugging off everything, saying all is well, the market's going in the right direction. Inflation, we had a bit of a blip to the upside, but
he kind of said that was as expected. Remember, it's like, oh, there'll be some seasonal blips here. And he was just, didn't you feel like he was very casual?
Yeah, he was like,
okay, the market, he doesn't talk about the market, but the data points were where they needed to be. He still thinks that 2% might be the right target. So I wrote down something that I thought was pretty important here. It says, so this was in the report, the summary of the meeting. Job openings have declined in many sectors, but continues to exceed the supply of workers.
Exactly.
So that was the only note that really I thought what's going to lead us to potentially more or less than the three, and we're going to talk about the dot plot, but the three indicated cuts. Job openings have declined in many sectors, but continue to be exceeded by the amount of workers exceed the amount of jobs. So, I guess we just keep on going to the upside.
Everybody gets a job.
I feel like I keep saying this on the show. It's like the strategy of buy and hold is really
We're brilliant.
Great. Buying some marijuana stocks have been great. Today we get that huge move up in CGC and things like that. I think you maybe want to sell some of those winners. But I think these tech names just keep on going to the upside right now. 3 potential cuts. Do you want to go over the dot plot, or what do you want to talk about?
Well, I want to mention this. This is just a graphic to give everyone a representation of the cycle, the overall interest rate hike cycle that we've been in relation to the prior ones. So it has been the steepest, as we've talked about, in depth. The fastest. So this is the current one.
We went 0 to 500
fastest
real quick.
Increase, Sean, ever, as far as the Fed is concerned. And now we're just chilling out up here at 5.25, and it's been there for, I think it's 8 months.
How come we don't see the drop back down on any of those charts? It's like that's just the peak, right? Where all those.
Well, that's the increasing cycle, right? And then once it cuts. So this is just comparing the speed at which we went from, as you said, 0 to 5.25. Is the fastest ever, and now we're just hanging out up here.
Could have we said that we went up from that high, and then me and you would be talking about this, and the market's at all-time highs?
It's insane.
So I think the market right now is no longer worried about anything about the Fed. The Fed is on the market side. They don't seem to be saying anything worrisome at all. The market seems to have been surviving these 5% rate. Interest rate, overnight rate there. And I don't know, man, mortgages still stay high. We're talking about car notes and loans. They still seem to be pretty high as well. We've seen some of those EV names continue to go to the downside, although Ford trying to break out there was a little bit weird to me today. So maybe we can look at that, trying to break through 13. I'm still on the side of buy dips.
Yeah.
I don't think.
How can you not? Yeah.
Because I remember we were actually I was at Great Wolf Lodge, and I remember with my family the first time they started to think about those those rate hikes, and that was sort of it. When we started to hear, I think it was October a couple of years ago, Powell came out and was like, "Yo, we're going to start increasing rates from 0." And I think that the next time we hear that is when we start to sell a little bit. But as long as they're talking about rate cuts, I still feel like we just push it down the road. We know we're going to get them. The dot plot was nice this time around. Finally delivered to us. Gave everybody that sense that the cuts are coming and it's going to be unanimous. I mean, no one has it higher than where we are right now. So I just feel that we still continue with a rate cut environment, although they're not cutting right now. The environment is there and it will happen. And I still can't believe that it's almost the end of March.
It's flying by. Real quick, we'll do this and then we'll get to the ever exciting dot plot, and we'll give you an explanation of the dots. This is the market last meeting compared to this meeting. This is kind of a cool chart because if you go back to January, remember we got this sell-off on the Fed announcement, and it was very hawkish at that point. And the comments that came from Fed Chair Powell in that meeting were more along the lines of, we need to see more data, we need to see more data heading in the right direction. Sean, we get data that is not the right direction, and Powell comes out and says, all is well, as you were, and as you saw on that chart there, the market absolutely ripped.
Let me just show you. Let's dig into this just one little bit more. Come to my chart right here. You see this little blip here, Brendan?
Yeah.
That is the example that you just gave.
Yeah.
One day.
Yeah.
I know, but what I was going to get at was the very next day we were already higher. This is a daily chart. So it's like, oh, thanks, Powell. Oh, you're not going to cut in March anymore. Oh, that's a nice story. Who cares? Right there the very next day, all the way back up. So I remember at the beginning of the year, we were like, oh, yeah, here we go, man. Nice little downside move. We had 3 down days, and that was the buying of that dip. So there it is right there. And then, of course, we get this is the day that you're talking about from Wednesday. Nice move to the upside, followed by 2 little red days there in the spiders, but all-time highs just created there on the S&P. And, yeah, I don't but the Fed's on our side.
It's that sense that if you go back to that last meeting.
But we're closer to June now than we were at that in January.
Yes, true. But he said in that January meeting, he wants to see more data heading in the right direction.
And we
get data going in the wrong direction.
In the opposite direction.
And he comes out and he's like,
they can change their mind, though. I feel like Brennan's in a good mood here today, which is a very good thing. Of course, it's Friday. And what have I asked you this before. What? You're not that. So I've been having a couple of times some of those matcha tea lattes.
I'm not a matcha person.
No, I don't know. I feel like it's really weird. My daughter says, "Why are you drinking grass?" And I was like, I feel like it's. I don't even know if it's that. I don't even know if it's that healthy for you. I'm just drinking it because it just tastes better. I get half sugar, and I get like the skim milk or whatever.
Matcha.
Latte?
Matcha.
I think that's how you pronounce it. Tea latte. Tea latte.
I'm not a tea person.
I'm not even really a latte person.
It's like dirty water.
Tea is dirty water. That's right. It's water filled with tea that potentially looks dirty. Yeah. Okay. I get that.
Here's the dot plot.
You're not a tea fan, I guess.
It's not exciting, but
if you could choose a tea, for me, I'm just like an orange pico. Or if my throat is a little off, we'll get that lemon ginger.
You know what? I will have like a chamomile sometimes, like at night, like after dinner.
Right. So we're using tea more like for medicinal reasons.
Right. Because we're old and tired.
Got it. You're old.
So very. The dots represent opinions of Fed members. So this is 2024. Now I know
it looks like a Nookshooks.
2024, 2025, 2026. They do kind of. And then they go longer run, quote unquote longer run. So anything past 2026 is longer run. I should have grabbed the one from December to compare the two, but trust me when I say they've all moved down. So the overall majority opinion of Fed members seeing rates not only going down faster, but they're also seeing rates staying down over the long run. So that's basically, to sum it up, what the dot.
I wonder if we're going to go down in June finally.
I think we are.
Because I wonder if it's one of those things where it's like buy the rumor, sell the news. Like we know that they're eventually going to cut, so let's just stay the course. Yeah. And then when they finally do, then maybe we start to go down, and then maybe good news is bad news once again, and vice versa.
And then we also heard from the Bank of England and the Bank of Canada also both kind of pointing towards June, saying we're good to go. Because I don't know if you remember, we got
May. I think I have May. I have to refinance. Damn it!
Oh, so close.
Well, hopefully they'll.
Well, yeah,
they'll take in consideration.
June 1st, you can go to the bank.
Yeah, they'll just take in consideration they're going to cut it eventually.
Yeah.
Oh, then I'll just get a variable rate. Screw you, banks.
I wonder if they front run it at all. I bet you they do.
The banks, yeah.
I mean, the one down the
I
street
wonder if
here
the bank tries to make more money off of the common person.
The one down the street here is 5-year fixed, 4.99.
That's not bad.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Not bad. 4.99.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, here in Canada, that's the most you can get is a 5-year.
Yeah. Yeah, for anyone in the U.S.
Yeah, like I can't refinance
very, very different.
30-year mortgage.
We have to go through that.
Imagine you could have got a 30-year mortgage. Like who, and again, it's specific to situations. I don't want people listening and saying they didn't refinance. But like when rates were near zero there, that was,
Lock that bad boy.
wasn't that was such a boom in real estate. But I'm noticing right now, some nice properties are coming up at half decent prices. I don't think the market's insane yet. I think the market's going to get insane once we finally drop some of those prices. I'm still seeing like a 3-bedroom condo is still pushing like $2 million.
Oh, yeah.
Downtown East.
3-bedroom?
Yeah, 3-bedroom.
Good luck
I have to
even
get at
finding
least,
a 3-bedroom.
That's all that I search for because
Yeah.
what am I going to do? My kids aren't bunking together.
No, but I mean in condo land, like a
2-bedroom
condo.
penthouses.
That's huge
know.
in downtown Toronto.
Used to have one.
We're turning into New York City.
Sold that damn thing. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't know yet.
I don't know either.
I don't even really understand what this chart is showing, but it's kind of
Then let's discuss it.
Let's talk about it. So more TikTok
I looked
users.
at this.
I don't really get what this means, but
so Randy said something interesting. You see that Reddit number right there?
Yeah.
So what we're looking at right here is that there's more TikTok users are turning to social media for news. And we have a little chart here showing that right now it still looks like Twitter has the most up there.
What is that?
53% of their users. Not
is
the
that
most,
users or age?
It's percent of each social media site.
Oh,
You see anything with age on there? We are getting old.
I thought I did.
No,
I
it's
was reading
percent. So 53%, I guess, of users
you're
are
right. You're
looking for it on X, 43% on the Meta platforms, but then it's 38% on Reddit. So we actually had Randy on the show today in the afternoon, which was a lot of fun. Shout out to Randy. And he said that he goes to Reddit for news.
Right.
And I almost called this up on the show.
Yeah.
Couldn't find it, actually, or else I would have. And then I was going to say, look at this. Reddit, maybe that's a story, and maybe we can talk about the Reddit IPO. We're going to do that. So
I just want to mention, WhatsApp?
WhatsApp?
You go to WhatsApp for news?
Yeah, so first of all, what's up, Brendan? And then the second part is, WhatsApp. No. Can you go to WhatsApp for news?
People are using it.
I wonder, so WhatsApp is just a message. I guess you don't have
I guess there's
WhatsApp.
I do, but I...
No, I thought it was literally...
No, I guess there's group chats.
Okay. Sometimes they get added to group chats. They fixed that. I used to get added to like random chats, like random stock chat. I don't know how people even get my phone number. They fixed that security thing, by the way.
I think they're making fun of us.
I have WhatsApp. I literally was on it today.
So do I.
I messaged my brother only through. I like WhatsApp. So easy to share files on WhatsApp, and you get the video calling.
We actually use it here with our.
Oh, there you go.
Our social media. Team.
Okay, so WhatsApp with that.
WhatsApp with that. I definitely don't use WhatsApp for news.
I think we got to buy more and more Meta shares, honestly. I really think that the more we talk about now WhatsApp, we didn't even realize it was a news thing there.
Yeah.
I mean, Meta's really operating on all levels here, and especially if that Oculus can start to take off with the metaverse. I mean, I think that there's something with Meta, honestly. That stock has been, look.
Mr. Zuckerberg is...
Look at this stock, man. I mean, whether or not he's training for a cage fight or something, you have a nice little move up here in Meta, and this is the consolidate. Oopsies, what just happened? You see this consolidation that we're seeing right now in and around $500? So it's about to break out. The NASDAQ's been going sideways for a minute.
Look at that chart.
Yeah, I know. And this is only, look at the weekly chart. You had a huge move down when we had the name change there on Meta and then bad earnings, switching over.
Yeah.
What a dip into $100. I really did load up down there, like in and around this area. It was a great trade. First bought in and around here, 160, but then was able to somehow get something down there. And I remember when, shout out to Sharif, I remember when he sold some of it, I think it was in and around on this core. I think it might have been this candle right there. It just kept on going, though, all the way to the upside. And honestly, I think, Brendan, we're about to break out even more on Meta. When do they report? Ooh, April 24th.
Coming up.
This is another name that we had on Danielle Shea, really likes this.
Yeah.
And the reason why I look at it is NVIDIA. NVDA. I think that they're breaking out right now. So you could see here, you had a little consolidation dipping down into 866 back and forth, and now looking like it wants to go one more time. Like, what happens when we close above this 955? That's all
right. We'll talk about NVIDIA. We'll talk about the conference that happened this week.
Oh yeah, GTC.
All kinds of headlines coming out of that. But let's, as you said, let's talk Reddit here, because we get the first notable IPO in years. Let's be honest. It's been a long time since we had something of this stature. So Reddit's been on the sidelines for, 2018, 2019. I think there was rumblings of them kicking the tires on going public. So here's a 2-day chart of Reddit after the debut. When all is said and done, the first day very volatile, as they normally are. But it chopped around inside of a range today and didn't really do a heck of a lot. This company is losing money.
Yes, they are.
Does that matter?
No, we know that doesn't matter. That hasn't mattered for a minute. So everyone was excited about Reddit because it was coming to market, but then they were all talking about it being a down round.
Yeah.
But then
which it was. What was it, 8 versus 10?
Okay, so when they listed, they gave all those shares, it was 6.5. So 6.5 versus 10. So back in 2021, they actually raised at 10 billion, sorry. Yeah. But yesterday's close, Brendan, and I wrote this down, yesterday's close of $50.44 gives them a 9.5 billion market cap. So that's what I was saying was, those insiders that got long at $34, they get it at that $6 billion valuation. Yeah. But any of us that want to go in, you're basically paying the same now that people paid in 2021. If you consider what Reddit could possibly be, and maybe it's a lot more efficient now. We talked about the AI angle. We talked about maybe it's gaining some more credibility. They did have, in 2021, it was probably pretty interesting because remember Wall Street Bets?
Right.
So I'm wondering if that sort of helped boost.
Sure. 100%. Yeah,
right.
100%.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Are you on Reddit very often?
Never.
Okay, so they have communities in Reddit. If you could join a Reddit community, which area, I don't know, I'm just thinking like what level of interest would you be?
I have no idea what even the options would be.
Well, for example, Randy does it for cars. Right. So you could join like a Porsche.
The one thing I have to say, in the limited experience I have with Reddit, the UI specifically, I find very
like Mickey Mousey.
It's not, well, sure, but it's confusing. Like even if you go there and you search for something, you'll get
like where's the top post and where's.
But then it just seems like everything else is just
I think they need more moderation there
at all. But tons of people use it. Advertising revenue continues to go up year over year. It was 91 million, it was 159 million last year, 91 million 2022, but they're still losing money.
So if you were to join a Reddit group, not a group at all, you're just like, delete the app.
A hard pass, yeah. I don't even have it on my phone. Do you have it on your phone?
Yeah, I've Reddit on my phone.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you Reddit?
Don't you think, didn't we used to have a Reddit subreddit, TraderTV.Live? I think we did, and then we got banned on it or something because we're trying to. We'll have to look it up. I think there might be one. There was something there because you can't just promote on there.
No.
So I think that was the issue. Now I think maybe you can. Now that they're public, that's what they should do. Like let Apple have
Trader TV promote on there.
No, but what about like having an official Apple subreddit where you kind of get like the check mark, and then that could be something, and then that way, Brendan, I could have an idea for you. You could join the F1 subreddit, and then where all F1 fans can join there.
I don't know about this year.
So you know what one? So thanks for asking me which one I would join. I would join a restaurant one.
A restaurant subreddit?
Yeah, because in Toronto, like newer restaurants may be opening up. What's hot, what's not. If you can get, find a respectable one.
Like so much work, man.
It does seem like too much work. You're right. I'm not going to join that.
I don't know.
I want everyone to make sure that they hit the like, the subscribe, and I want people to put more questions at the bottom here. Let us know what you're thinking. If you have any questions for us,
Darren needs more work to do.
You said it, not me.
I was going to say. You were saying we got banned on Reddit.
We got potentially banned.
We got booted off TikTok today.
Yeah, because we said the word weed?
I don't know.
So we had this discussion last week, and I messaged you when you messaged me and said, "Oh, nice one. We got banned off TikTok." And I was like, "Ooh." And then I thought, again, so don't blame me, blame the Chinese government. Okay, the second thing is I thought on TikTok, like my kids, I think they have TikTok or they have Instagram Shorts, which often replays TikTok videos.
Right.
I don't know if you know that. I see some
Bad stuff.
Bad stuff.
Yes. But you get no
I see
warning.
people smoking weed on there.
Amongst other things.
Yeah, and then we just go, oh, you're banned.
No warning, no
I feel like we get back on. Do you know that there's fake Trader TV Sean's? Like, we get banned, our real station gets banned on there.
I know,
but the fake ones are just allowed to operate, acting as it. See, more regulation for TikTok. Get out of here, TikTok.
I know.
That's right. That's right, Ramin.
So we apologize if you normally watch on TikTok, but you're not going to be able to for a foreseeable amount of time.
This will be very upsetting to Sharif and Ramin if anything happens to TikTok.
If anyone knows how long a TikTok ban is, let us know in the comments, because I have no idea.
It could be forever, man. We're probably shadow banned. What are we, Cardi B or something?
Anything else on Reddit? Because we close the day at the lows.
Do you know who Cardi B is?
I do not.
Okay. Every podcast, I'm going to expose Brendan.
Expose me on what?
Nothing, just pop culture.
That I do not listen to hip hop?
Yeah, I guess Cardi B is.
I'm totally fine with that.
You know what? If you said a country singer to me, honestly, I probably would not know.
No, a single country singer.
Okay.
Keep trying though.
What would be your genre of music then? Just like contemporary rock or opera?
That's a long discussion. These two. So just so everyone knows. Ramin and Fabian are having their own podcast.
I will knock you out if that goes public.
What is what?
I don't know. These guys are just taking random pictures. They're trying to get thumbnails.
Anything more on Reddit? Because it ended the week at the lows, which is not a good sign.
I still have, I mean, we talked about this going back last week into the 1920s and things like that, where IPOs right now, I don't have that much faith in them. I would rather wait. And we talked about what happened to ARM.
Yeah.
ARM actually has a great story. Like, I think even when ARM IPO, well, direct listed, but they came to market, and we knew about their dominance in the architecture of chips. And we knew that they were in 95% of all cell phones. It might even be higher than that. We knew the ARM story, and it still went under for a while its IPO price.
Right.
It only really got going once we had that boost from October.
Yeah.
The whole market started to take off, and then ARM came up with their earnings report, and then we haven't seen those.
I mean, totally different space, totally.
Yeah, so I would
rather,
long story short, I would rather buy a company that I know.
Yeah.
Then I don't. And right now for Reddit, I mean, what was that story? They bought Bitcoin? Woo.
Yeah. It's,
you know, like, I don't know.
It needs to
buy MSTR if you want a crazy
Bitcoin. Still a story to learn more on. It's 10%, 8% of which are, as you were saying, users. I want to talk about this Chipotle story because it's really interesting in the sense that retail traders, hopefully, who is watching this podcast, are going to have another name to trade coming up here. What is it?
It's 50.
I did the math. Yeah, it was like 59.
50 to 1.
No, it's like 50. The price will be like around 60, I think.
Yeah, because at 3,000 it would be 60.
Right.
So right now we're at 2,900. So
58, 59-ish. So CMG, yeah. Do
you know it's up 7,000%?
That's insane.
Since its induction.
Are you a Chipotle fan?
I am. I haven't had it in forever though, because we're getting like those Freshie bowls now, like
Freshie's great.
Freshie's great. But when I go to Chipotle, it's the same way. You can get salad bowls in there as well at CMG. Yeah, they have. I had
Chipotle one time in LA, and
I think it's pretty good.
That was the only time I think I've ever had Chipotle.
I think it's like you pay like $3 extra for the guac and stuff like that.
So I
think it's getting expensive. All I hear is that people are complaining that it's getting expensive, but they're still buying it.
Yeah.
So Chipotle, I just wrote down. I think that why you want to split is you just make it more affordable for the average investor to trade and to buy. You do have to pay different fees. When you have a $3,000 stock, the SEC fee is just a little more expensive. Not only that, I think it's exciting for option traders because now it'll be a $60 name. So, paying for those premiums might be a little bit more reasonable as far as that is concerned.
I'm trying to zoom out on this weekly chart, but go ahead.
Yeah, we'll put a monthly chart. It's literally 7,000.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it came out at $40, right?
This is the IPO.
What was the price? 40?
40. And is now, as you said, 2,900.
Like, what year was that?
06.
So 06. Like, just imagine dropping even just $1,000 in that, being up now 7,000%. I can't even think about how much that would be now. But no, I wrote down we're already up 80% year over year.
Yeah.
So you bought the stock this time last year, you're still up 80% regardless of the price.
Yeah.
So operating in the right environment. They had, remember, I think it might have been during COVID or even before that, there was some worries about them not properly taking care of some of the food and salmonella and all that kind of stuff going through. But it seems like Chipotle continues to work. I get a little nervous about the pricing there, but again, you know, you had a nice move up. That's an earnings gap there. So, that's the gap on, this is the earnings there. That's the gap for the announcement.
The split, yeah.
I think it gets filled back to the, back here. And then you look for the 3K break off of that. So, not as of record June 18th. So
right.
It will not split until the 26th of June.
And they were voting on it.
Any board member or shareholder that disagrees with a split would be,
I think it's June 6th,
ridiculous, in my opinion. It also does help them give shares to employees and things like that, because a little bit of lesser price now, so you can, instead of giving one share, here's $3,000. But again, if you're a shareholder, you get 49 shares more.
It'll be great. Yeah, no, let's talk about NVIDIA.
Does that split soon, you think, NVIDIA?
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time.
I think that'd be nice if it did.
What was it? The first time was like 1,600?
I think it's like they let Amazon go all the way to like $4,000.
And then split. Yeah.
And same thing with Google, went huge until it split. So maybe NVIDIA needs to still have space to go. What do you want to talk about?
Let's go back to NVIDIA and talk about this AI Woodstock that happened this week a little bit. That's just a market cap table. So NVIDIA quickly catching Apple here, 2.35, 2.6. I mean, was it last episode or maybe 2 episodes ago we were talking about it was 2 trillion. When it surpassed 2 trillion, we talked about that moment in time. And now here we are, just a few hundred million. Sean, right. What's a few hundred million between Apple and NVIDIA on a market cap?
2.3 trillion. Still Microsoft though, right?
Yeah.
Let me see, what is Microsoft at?
I think it's
do you think they overtake Microsoft? Microsoft's 3.2 right now.
Oh, it is.
Look at Microsoft taking out. You see what I'm saying about breaking out? So now that's gone. So all the rest, this is what's going to happen to all the rest. I just feel silly being an Apple, but it's starting to break out. Apple, look how different, and we're going to get to Apple in a minute. I know you talk. Look how different that is, right? That's so crazy. Blackwell.
Yeah.
I mean, what else do we have to say? It's X amount. I'm not going to go over the details.
It was kind of a snore, I feel.
I know. And we were waiting I had the piece in my ear waiting to hear NVIDIA announces a deal with Oracle and watch Oracle. But I just feel like everybody already knows. Meta's going to be, all of these corporations are going to need to use these NVIDIA chips. And I feel like they're going to be upgrading once they realize the power of said vehicle that these chips are. I mean, it's just that you need them there. You can go into the Omniverse right now that's also powered by NVIDIA and really just go into a car. I thought about this with Roblox, just about, when I watched the kids play years and years ago. I think we might have talked about it on the show lots of times. And it all started with that Paris Hilton. She had a New Year's concert that was on Roblox. I know, it was so stupid. She probably got paid $1 million.
I kind of remember that.
Yeah, Travis Scott did something similar on Fortnite, where they're, playing songs and doing concerts. I think maybe Drake did. The idea behind what can come with the Oculus and some of these Vision Pros. And then not only that, but how these NVIDIA chips are really going to create such an experience that we've never seen before, and that our kids and generations moving on are just going to be so enamored with these experiences that it just gives such an addressable market for NVIDIA that I honestly, buying dips, I want to buy dips in NVIDIA now. I've completely changed. I feel so stupid selling all those 780, 880, no more. I'm no longer going to be selling NVIDIA because they have the power, they have the juice that's there. Our margin's going to contract, sure.
Yeah.
But when you have the goods, man,
that's all you need.
When you're a pharmacist and everyone's looking for drugs,
you got to go to the pharmacy.
Or to the guy in the street.
Shout out to Michael Noss. He came on this morning and tried to make the case that we're starting to see that rotation away from semiconductors into other parts of the market, which is true.
And then NVIDIA goes to all-time highs on that note.
Chart. Yeah.
Shout out to Michael Noss.
Is what it is. Let's talk AI, speaking of.
But the only other thing is, too, he did bring up a valid point, and that is that, and I was thinking about this, too, you're overweighted at some point in the chip space, right?
For sure.
So
rightfully so.
Do you have to then follow whatever the weighting rules are in your ETF to maybe start to trim some of that? But then you're sitting in cash, and then I don't know where you're putting that money to work.
But I think that's what we just went through.
And then you have to yell at your shareholder, or the shareholders have to yell at you when you've trimmed NVIDIA, and it just keeps on ripping up.
But I think that's what we just went through. That
maybe a little bit of a shakeout there.
A week and a half of consolidation.
AMD is going the other way, and I think it goes to that story that I just was mentioning there. If you're going to build something, you're going to build it on the best platform you possibly can, and that's the NVIDIA chips right now.
All right, AI. There was a ton of AI news this week. This is a pretty telling story, and this is job. Is this advertisements or job hires in AI?
Gen AI jobs. I just think it's the current amount.
I think it's actually hires, not listings.
Well, regardless, Microsoft leading.
Yeah, but there's Microsoft, as we just saw the chart, leading the way. So on the hiring side, Google, surprisingly, still the lowest.
Gen AI jobs, but the thing is that we don't know what. I mean, with all due respect, we don't know what that chart is. Is it new hires? Have we confirmed that? Because the thing is that
I'm not sure.
Google might already have such a huge boatload of AI employees, therefore they're not hiring more. But what name surprises you the most on that list? I think we'll both say the same.
I think Google.
Oh, because how low they are.
Yeah.
I was going to say, but what about Amazon? About how high Amazon is? Like Amazon's going neck and neck right now with who we all think is the king of AI right now, Microsoft.
Look at November of 23. Amazon's off the chart.
Prime Day. It's November, right? Actually, maybe they hired a bunch to get that somewhere.
Oh, maybe. Good point.
Or Black Friday. That would make sense. That's in October, November.
Yeah, true.
So we just got that new hire. Are we going to talk about Microsoft? They just got, I forget his name, the guy that was in charge of DeepMind.
Suleiman?
Suleiman.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Google bought DeepMind in 2014, which this guy started.
Yeah.
Now, and then DeepMind was what was running Gemini.
Yep.
So now this guy's with Microsoft?
I feel like Google's in trouble here on this.
I wonder about that.
Stuff.
Does that mean that report that we got about Gemini and Apple, maybe there is more smoke where there's more fire where there's that smoke, because maybe Google is feeling a little bit of pressure to maybe get a deal done with somebody to give an ecosystem to Gemini. I walked by.
It was the other way around. It was
Apple's
for the iPhone.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So Gemini would have an ecosystem with iOS.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I walked by your computer today, I saw Perplexity, and I said to you that I'm using Perplexity, and I know there's a lot of people using ChatGPT because of Copilot.
Telling you.
So where's Gemini at? So maybe they need a deal.
Yeah. Maybe they need to hire a few more people because they're clear.
I think the other way around. I think they should do a deal with Apple. Get Gemini into iOS.
But that doesn't make it a good product, though.
Yeah, but who are we to say it's a good product or not? It was released 2 months ago. I mean, they can... Come on.
But no, my point is...
The iteration of the Pixel now is infinitely better than it was.
Sure, but my point is putting it in an Apple phone is not going to make Gemini better. It's just going to be in a bigger platform.
But what's the problem with Gemini? What, they're making historic reference to African Americans? When it clearly was not that. No, but I just think they can fix. What I'm getting at is that I think these are all minor problems that will get fixed. Eventually. There's smarter people running these things than...
I don't know. I think there's more to come from this Perplexity team as well, because they're taking on Google head on and have no problem saying
company.
That. No, but they're taking on Google for search specifically.
Oh, right.
Head on,
they ask you questions even.
And have no problem saying that.
That's fine.
Like they came out and say, this is what we're doing.
Yeah. Just don't have the DOJ investigate you for anything.
I mean, I like it way better than ChatGPT, that's for sure. Let's talk...
They have a paid version too, right? Perplexity, do they?
Yeah.
But that's not an investable product yet.
No, still private.
Imagine if they IPO'd. We had that Astera Labs go nuts.
We're going to get a ton of these, I feel like, eventually down the road at some point. But do you want to touch on this Intel thing? They got money from the government. Who cares? Let's move on.
Didn't that go the other way?
Yeah. They got a DOJ deal.
What other company can get a couple $1 billion and really just not do anything?
Who cares? You mentioned Apple here. Let's touch on it because that, as we saw on that daily chart, it's getting to a point where Apple needs to do something here on the price side of things.
It's nothing to do with Apple, though, I feel like. I felt like they were healthy there, and then that DOJ came through.
We're right back to the bottom.
I know, but what are they supposed to do? I mean, DOJ are a bunch of money-hungry agency looking to punish probably the greatest American story potentially of all time.
And they just sit there and have a list and go,
yeah. Do you know that, we have that there. What was it? That email where Steve Jobs or Tim Cook said, oh, you should get your, I guess it was, I don't know who said it. Do we have that there?
Tim Cook?
No, he said, get your mother, hold on a second. Someone asked them about how hard it was to message their parents on, because they had an Android and they had an iPhone.
Okay.
And he responded, get your mother an iPhone then. So the response was, I'll have to find it.
Did you see that picture, speaking of, this is totally unrelated, but did you see that picture this week of Sundar Pichai and Tim Cook having lunch?
Uh-oh. Is that good or bad?
There was like, it was like a paparazzi shot through the window.
And it was AI or it was real?
No, apparently it was real. They were in a restaurant at a table having, it was either lunch or dinner or something like that, but I thought that was kind of interesting.
But that would go with the whole Google, you said
Apple
Tim
thing.
Cook.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, that's what I'm saying. When there's smoke, there's fire. No, but okay, so I think we're all excited for June. We're all excited for their next release. We're all excited for whatever they call Apple Con, Developers Conference. What's it called? Worldwide Developers Conference coming through there, where we're expecting them to announce something. They got that little mini deal done with an AI company there in Waterloo. So I think they're trying to do stuff. Their products are just, we talked about this. We saw in the chat today, people still using MacBook Pros from literally 15 years ago.
Yeah. I think why change?
That's probably a little too long. But
not if you're Randy.
Not if you're Randy, no. But no, I as I said, I feel a little bit bad that we still sit in some Apple because it's not performing that well.
I bought more. I don't know.
Yeah, see, that's where you go. So I just, you're coming into a level here. I think we do get nervous, Brendan, if we do break this 165 area. Yeah. That's not good. That's at October low. There's not too many other stocks that are near there besides Tesla. So these are the two Mag 7 names that basically you could drop out of there. They're not performing nearly as well as any of the other names, man.
Who saw that coming at the end of last year?
Apple's actually been underperforming the market for quite a while.
When we had that all-time high, I remember we were talking about it, when we had that all-time high, the first one in the NASDAQ, we showed the chart of Apple and it was still...
like Apple's down year to date, right? We're down about 6 or 7%.
Show my screen, Ramin. This just highlights exactly.
Oh, there we go. You have it. Yeah. So you go down 10%.
That's Apple versus the NASDAQ this year. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, you lose 10 points right there, right away, right off the. That's bad.
All right.
I mean, at least you get a 1% dividend or something.
Tesla, on the other hand, is also a problem. If anyone has not looked at the chart lately, 162, Sean, was the low.
Oh, we were just gonna, It's. I mean, we talked about. I'm not buying any more. Are you buying any more of this? What even 162?
It has to figure it out.
Oh my God, we did hit 162 there.
Yeah, it has to figure it out. There was a bunch of headlines this week. I mean, we got price changes in the U.S. We got price changes in China. They said they're going to wind down some production in China. Wait, what? That's not a good thing at all.
But it's not, I mean, I think it's similar to Apple, right? Unfortunately, these big, huge Chinese, when you have a certain sale percentage that's happening over there, north of 20% for these companies with their sales in these countries, you're going to get hit. And then the problem with Tesla, too, is the increased competition that's over there. I mean, we don't have to get to it, but XPEV producing more cars, Li Auto producing those cars, NIO producing those cars. Not only are they producing cars, but there's also... Remember that whole Huawei versus iPhone where the Chinese government came out and basically said, we're not going to allow any government employee to have an iPhone, and quite frankly, here's a whole bunch of Huaweis just to make sure that doesn't happen. What if that happens and they slap a tariff or something, or they slap some kind of a tax on Tesla, even though they're made in Shanghai? I just don't know what the Chinese government's capable of. And if all of a sudden a vehicle from XPEV, there's that national pride similar to what we have in Canada and the US. I'm sure the Chinese citizens have the same thing. I feel that if the government comes out and says bad Tesla, good XPEV, XPeng, Li Auto, I feel like China and Tesla are going to have a sour relationship moving forward.
I don't know what happens every 3 months.
Not buying the
China,
dip. Not buying the dip.
But this chart is...
What is that?
Monthly sales in China. So every 3 months...
What?
Everyone goes crazy and buys a Tesla.
Yeah, and then they... What?
And then they what?
What is that?
For 3 months? Like, it's...
What is CN... So China EV Post is the... Something posting
like that.
This up there?
I don't even know what to make of that. I mean, some of these numbers are
doesn't.
insane.
I don't think that even looks real, does it? I mean, I'm just wondering if we can get those numbers exactly from Tesla. But hey, if that's true, I don't know. How does that make any sense? But why would someone in January they sold 70,000 units in January, but then in
like
February
10,000, 9,000, or like, it makes no sense.
So the only thing that I could think about, and we don't have the price, there's been a lot of price changes. So could that potentially be it, where all of a sudden Elon?
Significant?
Nah, I don't think so. Like they chops down like $1,000 off the Model Y.
50,000 cars.
I know, that seems crazy.
That's nuts.
Into 1.8 billion people. We actually saw India overtook China.
Yeah.
Interesting. China population negative for the first time.
You know where we've also seen India starting
Population
to creep up
growth.
the list? Our viewership on this show.
Yeah.
India actually overtook the UK last month of people watching this show.
Imagine if YouTube ever was allowed in China as well. I think Trader TV Live. Let's just IPO Trader TV Live now, with rumors that China will accept YouTube at some point. Why are we? Remember we talked about this last week. How is it even possible that we? Why was TikTok such a popular topic? What, 2 weeks ago? Did we even hear about anything about it today? I didn't even hear one thing all week about that. Isn't that so funny how influenced we are by media?
Yeah.
Isn't that so crazy?
And what are they doing in Washington this week that they
sleeping?
I guess they worked so hard last week on that they needed a week off.
Oh, they had the State of the Union. That was actually pretty. Yeah. FOMC. Oh, okay. I thought we meant like Biden.
No, but I mean that's all obviously in Washington too. This is kind of the same thing, but just emphasizes what we were just saying. This is insurance registrations. Kind of looks the same.
Tesla weekly insurance registrations.
I don't get this. But.
Let's just fade those tops and buy those bottoms. I don't know. I mean,
it looks so random. Anyways.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are you doing with Tesla right now?
Not just buying anymore. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
So I asked Randy about what was the extent of those superchargers and the charging station and all that certification there, because there's so many different companies now that have adopted that standard. He didn't seem to think there was too much revenue in that for Tesla. So I thought there was, but yeah, he thought there was nothing, Burger. I'm going to have to ask him about that. Maybe he misunderstood the question.
It has to get to a point where there's more other EVs on the road than Teslas, which is going to take a long, long time.
I think what hurts Tesla sales, especially in North America, is that they really got ramped up because you could have sold the Tesla, it didn't depreciate that much. And now I think used car prices are starting to head to the south side a little bit. So it's creating a little bit of like anxiety about if I buy a Tesla now and I got to replace the battery in 5 years, it's going to degrade, and then potentially a new Model 3 might be coming, or they've changed the model a little bit. So I don't know, maybe the used car market's just not as strong and it's hitting the Tesla price, but I just think China is still a huge problem.
A problem, yeah. Agree.
Sharif has what?
No, Sharif was saying that he was even seeing people in this country specifically selling their Cybertruck reservation.
Ooh.
Now that there's a few out and about,
it's lost its
people
luster.
Don't want them anymore.
Yeah, I think that's right.
There was one article and there was one review that
I saw that door was off.
YouTuber,
or whatever.
MKBHD was doing with that Cybertruck, and the door gap was.
I always thought that was a little bit of a fanboy car.
And did you see that Elon actually replied to that and said, "This is the worst I've ever seen it"?
Right. So he says he admits that he's seen it bad before, but that was the worst.
He said, "This is the worst I've ever seen it," and they'll obviously adjust some things.
When I say something like a fanboy car, I don't mean that as a negative thing. It's just it was very hyped up, and it's not a traditional car.
No.
So you have to be like one of those kind of fanatics of Tesla to be supporting that.
How many of those people are there?
And I don't know. Like the Rivian looks similar. Like all the EVs and all the new trucks that are coming out all look very similar.
Yeah.
I say what's up to that, because I think that's kind of cool that Elon steps outside and does something a little different.
All right, busy week coming up next week. Once again, there is nowhere near what we had this week with the Fed, obviously, but there is some notable earnings names still to get to. GameStop next week, CCL. I mean, that was a pandemic trade, but always worth watching during earnings. Rumble is coming out next week. See if they announce any kind of new products. Once again, WBA, there's Hut 8 is going to report a loss. We get consumer confidence data, we get GDP data, we get Sam Bankman-Fried sentencing, Sean. I don't even know if that matters, but.
How old is the guy? How old do you think he is? I'll say early 30s. I'm going to go 32.
Something like that. Let me look.
Talk if you're young 30s and you're getting sentenced for something like that.
That's a bad look.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get.
Yeah, he's 32.
Is he 32? Huh.
Nailed it.
Not bad. Nailed it. Would you watch? I think that would be a fun thing to watch.
I do
Sam
too.
Bankman-Fried like bio. No. I mean, if they did like a bio on, you know how right now they have,
what I mean.
like
Like
dumb money,
like a whole story
stuff like that on all the whole
how it
crypto
played.
story there. I know some people that lost a little.
Maybe they'll use some clips from our show if they make said Netflix.
Here comes the money. No, we'll just license it for free. Yeah. The thing that I thought about was Rumble, and I was just interested in that report because see this $5 level here on the daily chart. I mean, they're going to come on the 27th, so post market. So what day is the 27th?
I have a task
Wednesday
for everyone as well.
So yeah, what's
just
the task?
real quick.
Okay, want me to go?
No. I was just going to say.
You go.
Speaking of Rumble, let us know in the comments below if you want us to go put the live show on Rumble. Go ahead.
Where do I find the comments? I think the answer should be yes. Let me put that in the right. No, so that was going to be part of my case, was that I thought that let's hear how that's going, because they were going to change sort of the format of advertising, where
I don't think that's out yet.
Right, but you know, maybe they have people lined up, and I just interesting to hear, because we saw this week past weeks with Adobe and PanW, and then this week with Nike and Lululemon, where they actually had fine quarters, but their guidance was a little on the weak side.
Yeah.
I almost think the opposite for Rumble. I don't see them making any money. I don't see them having a bang-up quarter, because you just mentioned potentially some of the features and whatnot's not out yet. But you are going to get some tailwinds with the Republican Party. I called them Conservative Party, and I got in trouble because here in Canada we have Liberals, Conservative. So if Donald Trump gets in power there, we've been talked about them potentially streaming things on Rumble from his account or from some of the, that side of the aisle. So I think Rumble could talk very positively about what they expect coming forward. Yeah. So I look for maybe a dip buy into this $5 mark. I think Rumble's an interesting name there with a short float of over 21%. I like Rumble, but I've been wrong on a few things. I mean,
that chart looks great.
It does. I mean, it's above the 50 period right there. I wanted to actually call up Nike, because the one thing that's getting hit here, again, they had not a great report. They broke through that $100 mark. They had a nice recovery today. If you flip over to Nike, again, I think a nice chart. Flip over. Okay, hold on a second. I'll just change.
Go gadget chart.
Yeah, I'll change it to 3-minute chart.
I have to go back to Rumble real quick. I have a inquiry in to maybe get said CEO on said show.
What's his name or her name?
I can't remember, but
that's why you said said. Okay,
it's in the works.
Hopefully they don't listen to the podcast, and we apologize. We definitely know your name, just slipping our mind. So Nike,
it's happening.
That'd be sick.
I
know. We have a few other things in the works coming through.
One or two.
We could have a big. You know what? I did not look into. We had that ETF situation. Remember, I messaged you about a big ETF that wanted to come on?
Yeah.
I sort of forgot to inquire with that. My bad. I think we could get that on. We had some requests for Randy coming through there.
Lots to come.
I tweeted something out, and I just wanted to show something about how important social media is. And you've heard of this person.
Is that Kevin Hart?
Kevin Hart. No, it's a bad version of Kanye West. But I just wanted to show you this. So he went on and told people not to buy Yeezys and all that kind of stuff, and that they were sort of stealing his look and all that kind of stuff, and they had a falling out. So here it is, their first loss in 30 years. Right there. Bye-bye. Look at this. Look at this. There we go.
What a chart.
I just wanted to show you, when you're in this kind of an environment, and, there it goes. Anyways, nice downside move. I just couldn't believe the kind of impact there. Nike got hit there. Again, I'm a little bit worried about this play because of China again, but they did have a nice recovery today with a bottom of 92 all the way up to 95. I think Nike could still work here on the daily chart, falling back into these October levels. Now, this is a name that I think we could buy. The levels also coincide with something back here as well, back into some of those lows back in 22. So I think Nike will be fine. Not a great quarter. This is a name that I would buy the dip. I like the iconic brand there with NKE.
Give me your opinion on this. The Lululemon tie to the Nike earnings report was key for me, in that they both came out and said they're expecting some consumer slowdown going into not only next quarter, but the remainder of this year. Hasn't come yet, in my opinion, but now two companies of that stature and that size coming out saying they're both expecting things to be not the way they are today going into the rest of the year?
I think that is bullshit. Excuse me, I had to clear something in my throat there. I don't think that's going to be true.
Yeah.
And I think that this is a way they bringing the shares down a little bit here into some nice levels, and I think there's a chance to go back up because you know what's going to happen? Do you think people will spend more or less when interest rates go down? More, correct, Fabian? Because all of a sudden your credit card, no, because if the interest on your credit card is 30%, maybe it goes down to 26, 27%. No, I know it's ridiculous to think that, but I'm just saying
if you're paying 30% on your credit card,
if they lower interest rates, what's supposed to people do that? That's what they are. Isn't that what those rates are? Well, Ramin has a high credit card bill?
No.
No. Oh, okay. Oh, yes, she's saying yes. I don't even want to tell you what mine is.
Why did I know that? I don't know.
So the thing about it is, no, in all honesty, as crypto continues to go higher, people feel better about themselves. As the market continues to go higher,
crypto is making people feel better about themselves.
Who do you think buys Nike and Lululemon? It's this generation that also, no, seriously, Brendan, also invested. We could have the CEO of SneakerCon on here immediately.
Sean, I bought
sneakers.
I bought a $150 Lululemon shirt the other way. I don't own crypto.
You also are X amount of years old with a working wife and no kids, Brendan.
Okay, sure, I'm just
saying. And you can afford $150.
There are people who shop at these stores.
Oh, of course.
Don't own crypto.
What I'm getting, of course, obviously, Brendan, I think he's missing the whole point here.
Apparently.
The point, Ramin's saying she does as well, and she shops at those stores, and so does Sharif. He owns zero crypto, but he only shops at the discount Lululemon store.
Right.
So, no, what I'm getting at is as people feel more and more comfortable with their net wealth, which a lot of the generation that is involved with sneakers are interested, their younger generation are also invested in crypto. And when you open up that Coinbase account and you see an extra zero on the end of it, I don't know which decimal place.
You go buy Lululemon.
Then maybe you go into Lululemon, you feel more comfortable about paying. Look at Aloe.
I see where you're going.
I mean, Lululemon is not even the most expensive athleisure, not even close. Yeah. So pay for quality.
I told the story on the show, but I went to the Aloe store in New York City when I was there. There was a white long sleeve, wasn't even like a hoodie, it was like a long sleeve t-shirt.
You're right.
Men's, $300.
Yeah, I mean that's what they cost, honestly.
Yeah, product shot. Thank you, Ramin. And what was that? No, but how much?
That's not bad.
What? That's not bad.
Pants. Yeah, like pants. I think are $150, $160, like Aloe pants.
No, but like this shirt was like $289.99 or something like that. Like it was insane.
That's right.
Absolutely insane. No, but no logo, no like completely.
What shirt is
nothing.
it? No, but I didn't even know who.
Nobody can.
Ramin's saying guess the price of first shirt, but I don't know who made it. Skin? Oh, Skims? Yeah. So it's a t-shirt, $95. 85. That's pretty damn close. That's pretty close.
Sean shops.
You know what I mean? No, Sean has a wife and a kid. I mean, I know how much these things cost.
Did you trade today? We have 4 minutes.
No, I didn't trade at all today, Brendan.
No, this week.
No trades. Oh, in my long-term account?
Work with me here. Come on.
Work with. Isn't it always the opposite? He wants me to work with him. Oh, yes, actually. I talked about this on the show, and I just threw a couple $100, not even a couple $1,000 into Fisker.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm actually very surprised at this.
You know why? Because my double, quadruple, whatever down on weed worked.
Okay.
So I was buying some of these crappy weed names.
So naturally, you should buy an EV company that
a flailing EV company
is potentially going to zero. I like it. Just a trade. Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, it's 14 cents, 15 cents right now.
Just a trade.
Just look at the chart. I mean, it's if you can get back to this dollar level, it would be 5x.
You think Fisker is going to be $1 again?
What do I know?
I think it's going to be a penny before it ever gets back to anywhere above 10 cents or wherever it is.
That would make sense because if it goes up to $1, 5x, take away this, probably down to. So you think it's going to go to 2 or 3 cents before it goes back to $1? That's probably right.
That ocean has
no, it's a complete disaster. I think why you buy it is because there could be potentially someone that says something about the technology. We've seen Nikola have monster runs. You wake up one day, it's in the money 63 cents.
Or Nissan or Volkswagen comes in and buys the whole thing. And
If I'm long in here at 13 or 14 cents, man, like I said, $500, let's just say. If you get a double up there, you come in one day, this name could be at 20 cents.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And then I buy a pair of Lululemon pants.
Or two.
And then Brankos can't stop thinking about me in them for some reason.
What was up with that, by the way? That was
a lot of people are obsessed with your boy over here.
As I mentioned, Apple, Google, I bought more as well.
Google. Well, we like Google.
Yeah.
You're doing that whole thing where you're buying a little bit every month, every week, every whatever.
When it comes to get those juicy levels.
Yeah. Speak about paychecks. Make sure everybody likes and subscribes.
Please tell me about good things.
People, some of the viewers might like this. You know what a good thing. Now, this is not the right movie for sure, but there's a Demon Slayer movie that's actually out. Do you know about it, Fabian? It's actually out in the theater. It's an anime movie, but the whole point is that I went with my kid on Sunday, or was it Saturday? He wanted to go see a movie. I have no idea which one it was, but anyways, it was just kind of crazy to watch it. But what my one good thing is, and not anime for sure, would be going back to the theater. So what I was going to say is we went there, and it was just, honestly, this has been out for like 3 or 4 weeks. I looked at my wife was out with my daughter. I can't remember where they went. Might have been a PWHL game or something. And I was just like, yeah, let's do something. Because he sits there and plays video games. He's playing Destiny, by the way, right now. A lot of Destiny. And I was just like, let's go to the theater. So I'm a Cine Club member, so it's like $100 a year. You get a ticket a month. You get 20% off of...
You do the VIP?
Yeah. Oh, no, we didn't then. No. This movie's not playing in the VIP.
Okay.
Yeah. So we went, so we went there. Anyways, long story longer. We went there, and there wasn't many people in the theater, but we grabbed the popcorn, we grabbed the drink, we had a fantastic time, and he was like, thanks for taking me, Dad, and blah, blah, blah. Awesome. And we had a great time. So I'm going to say my one good thing is going back to the theater. It's fun to enjoy movies at home, but it's also fun to go out, and so that's my one good thing.
I know, it gets very easy to not. And just
lazy.
Stay home and be comfortable.
But it's so fun at home too.
Yeah.
We watch a lot of movies. My wife and daughter watched Bring It On the other day.
The VIP experience, even though it's round trip probably $75 at this point, once you get a drink and get something to eat.
Yeah, food, but still.
It's fun. It's fun. Here's mine.
Yeah, what's yours?
Go to Amazon and buy this right now. I just started this. I'm about a third of the way in, I guess.
You have a hard copy?
No, I'm just audiobook. There's a lot. Why fail?
Oh, he's failing it because we don't have you don't have a physical book.
Well, when I'm doing cardio, I like to listen to books. So sorry, Fabian.
Fabian.
There's a lot to unpack in this, but it's written with.
Come on, Fabian.
It's written with a. It's not necessarily a biography, like there's a story or a part of a story in it. So a lot to unpack in this, but
pretty timely because we got a question today from Brankos, and he asked me, who would we want to have on the podcast, if anybody?
Elon.
And I was almost immediately just thinking that, not just because of the bump in potential viewership, but just because he's going to speak things that we're interested in. Yeah. Even SBF would be kind of cool, honestly.
Again.
Just to hear, maybe not now. I feel like and again, by the way.
From his jail cell.
I also think Amazon has a good chance. They're in their spring. You talked about buying that on Amazon. One of my questions was, what was the last thing you bought on Amazon? Because they're in their spring sale and it's starting to break out right now. So I like Amazon right now. All right, a good podcast. Make sure everybody likes, subscribes, do all that kind of fun stuff. Number 19's a wrap.
Yeah, fun week. Lots to look forward to coming up next week as well. Nothing with the Fed, which will be a nice break, I think, for once. But earnings, as we were saying, not far away.
Not far away. We had good ones coming. We had Micron. What a great report that was.
Yeah.
Adobe, Nike. Check out the market recap show, of course, every day.
Episode 19, as you mentioned, in the books. Have a happy weekend. We will see everyone on the live show Monday. Come join us every day. The market is open on YouTube.
I can go home.
Bye-bye.